Warning. The following program is rated TVMA. Viewer discretion is advised. Leviathan. Leviathan is a creature with the form of a sea serpent from Jewish belief, referenced in the Hebrew Bible in the book of Job, Psalms, the book of Isaiah, and the book of Amos. Leviathan of the book of Job is a reflection of the older Canaanite Lotan, a primeval monster defeated by the god Baal-Hadad. Parallels to the role of Mesopotamian Tiamat, defeated by Marduk, have long been drawn in comparative mythology, as have been wider comparisons to dragon and world serpent narratives. But Leviathan already figures in the Hebrew Bible as a metaphor for a powerful enemy, notably Babylon. And some 19th century scholars have pragmatically interpreted it as referring to large aquatic creatures such as the crocodile. The word later came to be used as a term for great sharks or great whales, as well as for sea monsters in general. This video of the largest living great white shark known to man, nicknamed Deep Blue, is 7 meters in length. That's approximately 23 feet long and weighing over 8,000 pounds. The name and the mythological figure are a direct continuation of the Ugaritic sea monster Lotan, one of the servants of the sea god Yamu, defeated by Hadad in the Baal cycle. The Ugaritic account has gaps, making it unclear whether some phrases describe him or other monsters at Yamu's disposal, such as Tunamnu. Most scholars agree on describing Lotan as the fugitive serpent, but he may or may not be the wriggling serpent or the mighty one with 7 heads. His role seems to have been prefigured by the earlier serpent Temptum, whose death at the hands of Hadad is depicted in Syrian seals of the 18th to 16th century BC. Sea serpents feature prominently in the mythology of the ancient Near East. They are attested by the 3rd millennium BC in Sumerian iconography depicting the god Ninurta overcoming a 7-headed serpent. It was common for Near Eastern religions to include a Chaos Kampf, a cosmic battle between a sea monster representing the forces of chaos and a creator god or culture hero who imposes order by force. The Babylonian creation myth describes Marduk's defeat of the serpent goddess Tiamat, whose body was used to create the heavens and the earth. The Leviathan is mentioned 5 times in the Tanakh. Job 41:4 through 34 is depicted to describing him in detail. Behold, the hope of him is in vain. Shall not one be cast down even at the sight of him? In Psalm 104, God is praised for having made all things, including Leviathan. And in Isaiah 27:1, he is called the torturous serpent, who will be killed at the end of time. The mention of the Tannis in the Genesis creation narrative, translated as great sharks or whales in the King James Version, and Leviathan in the Psalm, do not describe them as harmful, but as ocean creatures who are part of God's creation. The element of competition between God and the sea monster are the use of Leviathan to describe the more powerful enemies of Israel, may reflect the influence of Mesopotamian and Canaanite legends, or the contest in Egyptian mythology between the Apep snake and the sun god Ra. Alternatively, the removal of such competition may have reflected an attempt to naturalize Leviathan in a process that demoted it from deity to demon to monster. Later Jewish sources describe Leviathan as a dragon who lives over the sources of the deep and who, along with the male land monster Behemoth, will be served up to the righteous at the end of time. The Book of Enoch describes Leviathan as a female monster dwelling in the watery abyss as Tiamat, while Behemoth is a male monster living in the desert of Duandin, east of Eden. When the Jewish Midrash were being composed, it was held that God originally produced a male and a female Leviathan, but lest in multiplying the species should destroy the world, he slew the female, reserving her flesh for the banquet that will be given to the righteous on the advent of the Messiah. Rashi's commentary on Genesis chapter 1 verse 21 repeats the tradition. Leviathan, a 1983 painting by Michael Cohen, the Israel Museum Collection, Jerusalem. The Sea Monsters. The great fish in the sea, and in the words of Agadah, this refers to the Leviathan and its mate, for he created them male and female, and he slew the female and salted her away for the righteous in the future. For if they would propagate, the world could not exist because of them. In the Talmud, Baba Bathra, it is told that the Leviathan will be slain and its flesh served as a feast to the righteous in the time to come, and its skin used to cover the tent where the banquet will take place. The festival of Sukkot, therefore, concludes with a prayer recited upon leaving the Sukkah. May it be your will, Lord our God and God of our forefathers, that just I have fulfilled and dwelt in this Sukkah, so may I merit in the coming year to dwell in the Sukkah of the skin of Leviathan next year in Jerusalem. The enormous size of the Leviathan is described by Johanan bar Naphafa, from whom proceeded nearly all the Agadat concerning this monster. Once we went in a ship and saw a fish which put his head out of the water. He had horns upon which was written, I am one of the meanest creatures that inhabit the sea. I am 300 miles in length, and enter this day into the jaws of the Leviathan. Leviathan can also be used as an image of Satan, endangering both God's creatures by attempting to eat them and God's creation, by threatening it with upheaval in the waters of chaos. St. Thomas Aquinas described Leviathan as the demon of envy, first in punishing the corresponding sinners. Peter Bensfeld likewise classified Leviathan as the demon of envy, as one of the 7 princes of hell, corresponding to the 7 deadly sins. Leviathan became associated with, and may originally have been referred to by, the visual motif of the Hellmouth, a monstrous animal into whose mouth the damned disappear at the Last Judgment, found in Anglo-Saxon art from about 800 and later all over Europe. The powers that the Leviathan possess are obviously of ocean superiority. Its immense size would definitely make it the apex predator of the sea, allowing it to devour anything in its path. Leviathan is indeed a force to be reckoned with.